How do we get the perfect control? Well, we don't just think about anterior and posterior chain, which is our muscle at the front and muscle at the back here. We've got to think more functional. We've got to think rotation. We're a three-dimensional person, an organism. We don't just work in one plane. So we've got to look at hitting all these different planes. And so when we look at core control, we're looking at these what we call oblique slings. So it's where opposite muscles work with the neighbouring opposite muscles to give us that control and give us that force generation. When we look at this, it's not just about the muscles, but we're looking at tendons. Remember, tendons are the structure that connects the muscle to the bone. We also look at ligaments. Ligaments just connect one bone to the other, so you see them over every single joint to help connect those. And we've also got this fascia as well, and the fascia is this connective tissue that surrounds pretty much most of our tissues in our body. And again, all of this works together to give us our stability, or to transmit force and to generate the energy we need to move. Okay, so how does all this kind of work to give us this control, this joint that's going to help maintain good position whilst we're moving on the other side? Well, if we look at running or jumping, when your leg hits the ground, you're going to get this ground reaction force. That's the reaction. When your leg hits the ground, it bounces back up through your leg. As it's come up through your leg, it's going through those bones. As it goes through your bones, it's going to hit your knee joint, it's going to hit your hip joint, it's going to hit around the pelvis, around your lumbar spine. When it hits those areas, the ligaments have got to stabilise, they've got to work to give us that stability. Now, when the ligament gets a little bit of stress going through it, it sends signals up to our brain. This is this central nervous system that I spoke to you earlier about. When it does that, then the muscles react to that, that pulls through the tendons, that then pulls through the fascia to give us that stability of that one particular area. It gives us that control that we're looking for. When it gives us that control, it allows us then to push back through that force to generate us to move forward, or the direction that we're desired to go. Remember, this is looking at this Newton's third law. Remember, every action has an opposite and equal reaction. So if you don't get this control right, this is when the joints don't align correctly. This is when muscles pull abnormal directions, or other muscles overcompensate to try and give us that control back. And when they do that, that's when everything moves out of position slightly. Now, for short periods, that's fine. But for long periods, that's when we find we start getting pain, we start getting some irritation, some aches, we feel sore, more pain or more soreness the next day. And it lasts longer, and it makes it harder for us to continually train at the rate we want to train. And this is why it's important to make sure we get it right, so we can train as much as we want, so we can push our bodies to what it's designed to do. So if we do get injured, if we only focus on those muscles or the joint that's causing us pain, yeah, we can settle that down, and that might feel easier for a short period of time. But time and time again, I get patients coming back, they've seen other people, also seen me as well, and because they've only been focusing on that one little area and not looked at the whole picture, they've come back with more injuries, or they've come back with the same injury. It keeps repeating. And unfortunately, you've got to work the whole thing. We've got to kind of almost take you back to the kind of ground zero and build you back up again, and get your what we call neuromechanics or neuromuscular system. That's the brain working with the rest of the muscles to react. We've got to get it working in a functional way to give us that proper alignment, to take the stress away from the joints, and to allow the joint to move in the way it's designed without excess stress.